Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. And we are actually on somewhat positive note starting today because actually Arsenal won. That is something nice for a change, to be honest. Arsenal won the game. Despite everything, despite the odds, despite how refereeing went, Michael Oliver. I just hope I don't know, when he basically in the night when he's sleeping, trying to turn the pillow to find the cold side. It's always hot on fire, and that's about it. But yeah, game 1-0. I don't know how to describe this. Again, it was a performance where I'm not saying I wasn't too excited to watch it. I was half asleep. That red card for Miles Lewis Skelly, pathetic, embarrassing, and crap on the earth, if you can imagine that. Have seen for much worse given only yellows, and have seen, to be honest, it's hard to see for much less given a red at times. It's kind of mad, to be honest. But at the end, João Gomes as well got a red card, second yellow. He got a second yellow for a tackle on Timber, stomping on his leg, almost breaking his ankle on some level. And he got a second yellow for that, for a challenge that was 10 times worse than what Miles Lewis Skelly did. It's kind of mad. Michael Oliver just needs to stop refereeing. Genuinely. We will see, of course, apology letter or stuff like that. PGMOL will cover their own asses as always. But it is what it is. I usually don't complain about the refs and everything because there's no point, there's no need. Yes, we can raise the debates and questions, but ultimately we all know that referees in Premier League are shit. Let's be real. Oliver technically counts the best Premier League referee, yet he is always the worst. Let's just put it that way. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, we got a red card. We managed to score in the end because 10 versus 10. Actually, we had some more space and we actually looked more dangerous. At the same time, that red card should not have impacted us as much as it did. Let's just put it that way, because we had opportunity to be about 3-4 nothing up before the red card happened. If Kai Havertz could finish his bloody dinner again, we actually would have been 2-3 nothing up easily. Havertz should have been on a hat-trick today once again. In the last month, Havertz has scored, 4 or 5 goals, I think? And he should have scored about 10-15 goals. Something like that. He should be almost on 2 goals almost every single game. He should be kind of scoring like Gyökeres scores in Portuguese League. Every game a goal, every game 2 or 3 goals pretty much. That is the big thing. People still say we don't need a striker. They're dumb as fuck. I'm sorry, but they're blind and they don't watch football at all, it feels like. But it is what it is. I don't want to get personal or anything, but Kai Havertz, let's be real. He should have been scoring about 2-3 goals. It should have been 3-0 before we got the red card, and there shouldn't have been such a meltdown. I think mostly the meltdown was because of the refereeing decision, the VAR not overturning it, and more of the reason the fact that until then we hadn't done much. We had done in kind of, you can say, enough to score. We just couldn't finish our dinner once again. The lack of consistency in finishing, the lack of finishing at all overall was I think the bigger reason why we were in such a disarray about everything. Because we all know that the refs are bad, awful, and everything. But we're gonna get into all that. We're gonna look at some stuff, of course, some transfer news, news, rumors and everything. We're gonna look at the game, of course. If we have enough time, we're gonna look at Arteta's post-match press conference and everything. But yeah, like, subscribe, get your thoughts down in the live chat. We're gonna tackle them and everything. So let's, to be honest, do this. Big up Marlon, he's been here before the stream went live. Calafiori, nothing but bangers. We need a striker, exactly. And the biggest thing is, we subbed on Kieran Tierney as well. Kieran Tierney we subbed on in. Let me check, where is it? The lineups. We subbed on Kieran Tierney, of course. And that was in which minute? We subbed on Kieran Tierney. I'm generally blanking on this. In 87th minute, we subbed on Kieran Tierney, right? And immediately, he made a phenomenal cross. Again, every single time he comes on as a substitution, he puts in a phenomenal cross. It was begging for Havertz diving header or something just to put it back of the net. And he didn't, of course. It got cleared and everything. Because imagine Kieran Tierney having such a delivery for a guy who is like Gyökeres, like Haaland, like proper finisher up top. That ball is in the back of the net. Let's be real. Obviously, Calafiori came on at halftime. Arteta took off Ranieri, which got me really pissed off, annoying, and I wanted to cuss out Arteta. But for a change, I actually held myself back. I wanted to see what's gonna happen. If we're gonna go defensive as we usually do when we are down to 10 men, we park the bus and everything, and we didn't. And this is where I'm gonna give our credit to Arteta. He actually saw an issue that left back position is kind of screwed up, so he subbed on left back for attacker. Obviously, my option would have been subbed off Martinelli instead of Ranieri, but it is what it is. But ultimately, today we showed some character. Down to 10 men, still were attacking. Wolves could have scored, I'm not gonna lie, Raya made some good saves. But ultimately, credit to Arteta in this regard. He subbed on Calafiori. He scored a winning goal, so substitute essentially has worked. We kept a clean sheet and everything. For me, he was man of the match. For me, Declan Rice was man of the match. Declan Rice, then Yuri and Timba, despite the yellow and some slip-ups here or there. But yeah, ultimately, credit to Arteta today. You all know who are watching me right now that I cuss out Arteta and I want him gone out of the club. I want a new manager, a proper manager who can get it over the line. So here is the biggest thing. I'm giving credit to Arteta today. I'm giving him a credit because he did the right substitution. It may seem like an obvious one, but ultimately Calafiori came on and it didn't feel like we were down to 10 men despite that. With Havertz up top, at times it felt like we were playing with 9 men, I'm not gonna lie. But credit where credit is due. Arteta did the right thing. He actually didn't panic for a change, let's be real. Our team showed some resilience, some character. We went 1-0 up. Obviously, it took way too long than it should have, but we actually got there in the end. Then our defensively, sometimes we were a bit shambolic. Our midfield was getting walked through way too easily. One long ball over the top made Aiden Nori to almost score when Raya made a brilliant save near post. If that was Cunha, most likely that would have been 1-1, but we moved. That was Aiden Nori. But ultimately, yeah, Mikel Arteta deserves much credit today. Yes, he made only 2 subs of 5 available, but if we look at our bench, we have Neto, Zinchenko, 2 goalkeepers there. We have Oyadeji, we have Sterling. He didn't want to sub on Sterling because I think Sterling is done for him as well. It feels like that way. Obviously, 10 men going down also changed the plans. But ultimately, yeah, Arteta today did the right thing. He did the job. He did everything as it should have been done. And this is where I give Mikel Arteta credit. He didn't panic. He did the right job. He made level-headed decision for a change. And he got us over the line in the end thanks to his substitutions and the fact that team didn't fall apart. Because many times when we go down to 10 men, we park the bus and sometimes fall apart. This game, we actually were on the other side. Yes, the game was boring on many instances because if you look at these stats, I was purposely saving this. Here it is. Arsenal, right? First half, 5 shots, 1 on target. Havertz missed two nets, and Havertz had 1 shot on target from a cross. He should have scored a hat-trick in the first half. Let's be real. Havertz could have been a hat-trick in the first half, and that just easily shows that we need a striker. And in the second half, we had 4 shots and 2 on target. Overall, 9 shots, 3 on target. We had less shots on target than Wolves. We still got the job done. Wolves looked threatening on occasion, but you could see why Wolves basically are where they are in the table. You could easily see why Wolves are 17th in the table. This might not be the best image, but you could see why Wolves are 17th in the table, basically. They cannot finish their dinner to save their lives, because if Cunha could finish on more consistent basis and some other players, they could be up around 13th or 14th place easily. Yes, they're 10 points behind them, but if they could finish more consistently, they would be up there as well. But ultimately, yeah, credit to the team, credit to Arteta. To be honest, for today, let's not talk about the refereeing. Yeah, it pisses me off, but it is. Can't lie, that bastard gave us Boy Scully a red card. I didn't want to talk about refs because I don't want to give them too much attention in that regard. But I can show you some stats like this about this. Is the same referee who has sent off 8 times in the Premier League. He has sent off 8 Arsenal players. It's more than any other team. That already doesn't bode well with me in my mind. And the referees came out, the PGMOL, that crap Twitter account, and said that Mike Oliver showed Malus a straight red for Cure played this play for the reasons and all that crap. Basically, the referee's call of a red card of Luis Skelly was checked and confirmed by VAR, who deemed his challenge to have been serious foul play. Basically, there are some slight rule changes, basically that if you deem serious foul play, you can give a red card. At the same time, when we have played against Wolves, right, this was not a red card. This tackle has not been a red card. Let me get this comment off the screen so you can see. This was not deemed as a red card, first of all. Second of all, this last time we played Wolves wasn't deemed red card by Totti, when he basically choked slam Kai Havertz. Here, Havertz on Tomiyasu Jackson didn't get a red card when Arsenal scored. It was nothing. It's more of a red card than it is. And the same time here, Kovacic basically broke Declan Rice's leg, almost what it felt like, and this was not red card as well. And it was and Michael Oliver after the game came out and said, "Oh, I didn't send Kovacic off because I didn't want to ruin the flow of the game." Yet in this game, he had no trouble instantly pulling out a red card and giving him the red instantly without hesitation. You could see that he said, I'm deeming this a red card. And that is the biggest issue. And it same goes here. This tackle by Lisandro Martinez was not deemed a red card where he pretty much jumped on his leg. It was not a red card. How was that not a red card? Can you, someone please explain me how this was not a red card? And then here you can see pretty evidently that the tackle was straight on the foot. Not ankle, no Achilles, no nothing. It should be yellow at work. It should be a yellow, straight up yellow, but it wasn't a red. Yes, people say rule changes and everything, but it is what it is. We are not gonna deep dive too much into this. We all know that referees in Premier League are shit, and it is what it is. And you can see in this image right here, Michael Oliver has officiated 56 games for Liverpool, 1 red. For Everton, 52, 5 reds. For City, 50 games, 0 reds. For Arsenal, 54 games, 7 reds, which comes on an average at every eighth game he officiates for Arsenal, we get a red card. Seriously, it's if that doesn't just show you that there is something with Oliver and Arsenal and how corrupt the PGMOL is, I don't know what will. And I don't want to get too much into referees, and I'm not talking about the referees anymore. I'm not gonna lie. And because Tierney can't keep playing left wing. Yeah, that's why I think Arteta is playing Tierney left wing. To just show Kroenke that he needs money for attackers. I think so, at least. But the corner, the cross he put in was phenomenal. We need 2 attacking signings immediately. We have less than a week left in the transfer market, and we need to sign a striker and another forward. And I don't think we will do. I genuinely don't think we will do. Big up Nathan. Big up Nathan, big up my guy. For you, Timber was man of the match. I totally get that. For me, it was Rice and then it was Timber. Raya, man of the match. It could be. Yeah, and that's the big thing. We played better after the red card. Not sure how, why, and when, but somehow it feels that way. Big up G-Star, big up my guy. Havertz shouldn't be our striker, and I couldn't agree more. He should have been on a hat-trick today. Should have been on 2 goals last game, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not talking about Zagreb, I'm talking about Aston Villa game. Pretty much every single Premier League game in January, he should have scored at least 2, at worst 1 goal per game ratio. He should be scoring 2, 3 at some games. Yet he manages to miss all of the chances. He hits it off his shoulder, he balls it too late or something. He just is not it. Let's just put it that way. Entire first half was Trossard crossing to back post, remind me of Inter game. Yeah, it was nuts. Big up Nally, big up. Congratulations to Arsenal. I didn't watch the game. I get it. Get well soon. Hope you get away from this illness as soon as possible. Speedy recovery. Martinelli has a decent game left wing versus Dinamo, so Mikel decides to play him right wing. Yeah, Martinelli, I was shocked that he didn't come off. I actually was shocked that Nwaneri came off. At the end of the day, it's Arteta's decision, I guess. Ryan Saliba both very good, but Timber in that second half, Timber was amazing. He got that yellow card for arguing with the referee on Miles Lewis Skelly red. But in the second half, he was a monster. Together with Rice, they both hold down the fort pretty much for Arsenal in that regard. Yeah, that's what it is. And we have seen this on multiple times with the subbing off, changing positions. Remember Trossard when last season, he scored and got 2 assists. He got man of the match, and he didn't see a pitch for the next 3 games. Arteta has this weird fetish, it feels like, where player gets man of the match performance, he had performed very well. Next 2-3 games, he holds the bench for the full game. Same happened with the ESR, and I think partially that was the reason also why he left. Because he came back from injury. Remember the game against Luton at home last year? He got man of the match for that game. He was sublime in that game, by the way. And for the next 3 games, he came on in 70th or 80th minute for small cameos. Arteta has this fetish. I don't know why, and I don't like it whatsoever. What do you think about Cunha? Cunha should have scored at least once today. One he put wide of the net from the corner, and the second one he curled in, and Raya made a brilliant save. If he curled it, for example, a few inches higher, maybe Raya doesn't get to that. But again, this is the big thing. He also is not a clinical finisher. I can get on board, for example, with Cunha signing for Arsenal for about 40 to 50 million and to be a rotational player, coming off the bench. Some games he starts, but he is not the guy we need as a starter, main guy who we can depend upon game in, game out. You could argue he's a confidence player, but that's an argument you can make for everyone pretty much. But ultimately, yeah, Cunha for me is not the main guy who gets us over the line. He is not the needle mover in that sense. But as a rotational player, as a proper sub, proper bench depth, proper depth in the team, plus he can start some minor games in the cups and stuff like that, I wouldn't be against that. But 80 million, no thanks. As a main guy especially, no thanks in hell. If Wolves want 80 million, we might as well take that 80 million and sign Osimhen, sign Gyökeres, and we just have a proper striker up top, in my opinion. Yeah, Rice was amazing today. We looked better when we switched to wingbacks. Yeah, it's insane how we look better when we actually manage to spread the game, because what we do is hold possession and we kind of crowd the midfield and we try to find open spaces. But many players for us don't move as much into these open spaces to have a chance to pass in those spaces. You could see in previous games when, for example, Partey has the ball and he just stands and just his arms wide and he says, where do I pass to? Because there is the middle line, there's defensive line. In between, there is a gap across the whole pitch for our players to run into. And nobody's making those runs into pocket spaces to get the ball, to play give and goes, to play small triangles. There is not movement in that. As soon as we spread the play, if that makes sense, and we put on proper wing backs who can cross the ball, who can overlap and everything, we look much, much more dangerous in the attack and we look much more direct. And that is what we used to play before. We used to play in 22-23 season and more of that. We don't play it as much anymore. And why Mikel Arteta doesn't go back to that more often is still a mystery to me. Obviously, we might have this Dubai trip this year again. He will again switch it for the second part of the season, if that makes sense. Maybe it'll look more convincing. We will destroy Leicester after that. Then we have Forest away. We'll see how that goes. But there needs to be tactical changes in the team quite heavily. For us to be more free-flowing in the attack and not to basically panic every time the more time goes on. And if we don't score in early 15-20 minutes, the more time goes on and the more the score stays 0-0 or 1-0 to either of the teams, we get more panicky. And we need to start to do what we did 2 seasons ago, score 2-3 quick goals, and then we can switch the system we play now, where we try to see out the game, control the play, control the possession. That for me would be the perfect balance. But our Arsenal don't play it that way. Because for the first 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, we look like we are on fire, we create multiple chances, we don't score from them. And then it feels like we run out of steam. We sit back a bit more and we try to play more controlled. And if we cannot score a quick goal. And that's what's doing my head in and the team in general. I'm not afraid like Robbie, but big up. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a Arteta fan goal. I still want him out. I don't think he's the best manager to get us over the line. But today, I'm giving him credit where credit is due. He did a great job with the subs, with the composure he kept in the team, with everything. He actually did the correct things today. Cannot knock him for that. This is for all the people who tell me in the comments every single day or on social media, right? That I should go support Spurs, I should fuck off down the lane, as they say, and I'm not a real Arsenal fan, we don't claim you and all that stuff. Wingback system, we won't go to 3 at the back. That is the big thing. We can still play the wingback system with 4 at the back. with overlapping, with a bit cut insides and overlapping then and all that stuff. We just don't do it as much as we need to. We need to spread the play more. We congest the midfield so much, we congest the ball and hold it for so long in a very slow type of play that it has less directness, and it gives pretty much every single time defensive side to recover and to set up so we can defend the next pass we make. If we play a bit more direct, with a bit more pace, with overlapping, with runs and everything, they cannot track everyone. And then we are the most dangerous. This team is meant to be attacking. This team is built to attack. But ultimately, we play a bit too much defensively, in my opinion. Yeah, Marmoush and Kustanov today started. Yeah, City 3-1 if I'm not mistaken. Kustanov was at fault, I think, for the goal that City conceded from Madueke. But overall, Marmoush scored. It was offside. It is what it is. But ultimately, City won 3-1, so it is what it is. Injury, so yeah, it's mad. Bro needs to be swapped. I'm telling you, Robo, we go 3 back. I know that if we play more 3 at the back, we could be more dangerous, we could do more overlaps and everything. But this is not Arteta's system, how he envisions us playing. Yes, he played 3 at the back or 5 at the back, depending how you look at it, in the first half of the season when he just got the job, and that won us the FA Cup. We beat City on the way, we beat Chelsea in the final and everything. Yes, that got us the cup. But since he got full reins of the wheel, he got the 700 million and he got the players he wants, he doesn't want to play that anymore. And I still believe that if we get in a manager that plays 3 at the back, we have the tools to play that way. Very, very good football. And on top of that as well, if we actually back that new manager who plays that way, we give him the proper money, even 150, 200 million, or even give him 150 and the money from the sales, he can get the proper players in, 2-3 players max we need, to be honest, for him to sign them, to fit the system, to play that way. Plus, we have players on the bench as well, because even if we sign a player to replace Merino, for example, Merino can hold the bench and come on sometimes as a sub. I won't mind that. And it's quite baffling, because if you look at the team today, we signed this summer Calafiori, Neto, Sterling, and Merino. None of them started today. Odegaard apparently is sick. Merino apparently is injured. Neto holds the bench the whole season, and Sterling, well, he's a waste man. So ultimately, we spend those 100+ million to sign everyone, and in the end, none of them started today, because all of them are injured or they're not good enough. Yet Top Gunners gave that 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 window. So make of that as you will. And I'm like, Odegaard apparently is sick, right? It was reported that Odegaard is sick, and here it is. Odegaard was ill this morning and we had to send him back. He was nowhere near fit to play. Merino as well, because he got a knock and couldn't make it yesterday for training. The biggest question is, we all know that there is this Norwegian guy, Sverre Nipan, in England. He was Today he was spotted in Manchester in attendance at Etihad to place Chelsea. He's arrived at Manchester on Friday, visits Swan City, project president with initial move to Girona discussed. Arsenal and one more club are still in the race, no decision as of yet. For me, the biggest question is, this Odegaard absence, is he sick, or is he maybe has driven to Manchester to try and recruit him? That for me is the biggest question. I'm still not sure. Maybe there is something coinciding with that or what, because there have been rumors circling in the Arsenal media, in Arsenal news and rumor mill about the fact that Odegaard is whispering into Nipan's ear. Not like that. Big pause. He's just whispering. He's Arsenal whisperer in that regard, with the fact that he should be coming to Arsenal. Depends to be seen, obviously, but there are some rumors circulating in that regard. But Odegaard was ill. I don't know if he's got the flu or what, but he was nowhere near fit to play. To be honest, with all the snot he's blowing every single game, he must be sick. I'm not gonna lie, but I guess it is what it is. But yeah, Odegaard wasn't here, and we didn't miss him as well. I don't know why, but Odegaard was not playing. I was watching Arsenal to play today. It was somewhat similar performance in terms of boringness, half asleep and everything. And not once during this game I thought, We are missing Odegaard. I totally forgot about him, that he's even injured. He's even ill at the team. Gabriel was the captain, everything. It's weird. I didn't miss Odegaard whatsoever today. We had the chances, Havertz couldn't finish. Okay, cool. We were down to 10 men and everything. We still managed to create. We look a bit better with 10 men than we did with 11. To be honest, with Havertz on the pitch, it felt like we were with 9 men. But I didn't miss Odegaard whatsoever. I wasn't too fussed with the fact that he wasn't there. I didn't even think about that. As weird as it sounds. And he is the so-called captain of the team. Make from that as you will. It might be just me, but it was a weird one. I'm not gonna lie. It was a weird one if I come to think of it. Martinelli right wing back was actually okay. We have the squads. Yeah, we have. That's the big thing. That's the big thing. We have the squad. Thanks. Hopefully I feel better soon. Who you will buy? It's all good. English, your English is fine. I totally understand you. And I have no idea who we will sign. Because still to this day, there are no concrete links. Besides Naipan, by the way, I haven't seen nothing much. We are linked FC, and half of those rumors have been shut down in terms of Osimhen, Vlahovic, and players like that, even Šeško to massive extent. So there's only Sver Naipan. That's it. None. Nobody else, which is quite weird to me, I'm not gonna lie. Martinelli can run and carry the ball into final third, but doesn't have the confidence or football IQ to get the output we need. For me, the biggest question is, we should try him at striker. We haven't tried him there. That for me is the big question. Can we try him at striker? He would cook there, yeah. Big up Kwame, big up my guy. MLS is innocent. He fully is. He fully is. If Arsenal don't appeal this red card, it will be a travesty. And we play next week and we play City. That is also a week up to keep that in mind. So it is what it is. I guess at the end of the day we'll have to wait and see. But we need Miles Lewis-Skelly in this team. And we need a striker immediately. Yeah, if this game again showed that we need striker as much as we need air, to be honest. Havertz again today could have been a hat-trick. If we had Osimhen there, he 100% buries at least one of those chances. We are 1-0 up before the red card. And the way game was developing, bigger chances than not, Skelly wouldn't even get the red card because there would be no necessity to make such a tackle. And even though I don't think that was a red card, but if you look by the book, perfect, like point per point, black on white written text, you could argue that is a red card, right, by officials. But ultimately, looking from the player standpoint of view, gameplay standpoint of view, he was not the last man. It wasn't such a malicious tackle. He was totally focusing on the ball. You can see it from his eyes. He just mistimed it. That for me is a yellow. The tackle that Gomes made, right, who got the second yellow and a red card afterwards, right, that was straight red for me blatantly. That was a worse tackle than Skelly did by miles. But I don't want to get into refereeing. We need striker right now. We have Oyedeji, who's been there for years, but no man. Yeah, that is the biggest thing. Havertz does nothing. He stinks out the pitch, and Oyedeji doesn't even get a sniff of the game. So I guess it is what it is. I forgot Merino as a player, dude. I don't know what he brings to Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie. If Tierney gets changed to left wing this season, I'm gonna. To be honest, it doesn't matter. It genuinely doesn't matter because by looks of everything, the reports. He is gonna move. His contract runs out in summer, and he's gonna sign with Celtic. I genuinely believe so. Only way Tierney stays at Arsenal is if he becomes number 1 left back, but since we have Skelly, that is not happening, let's be real. But ultimately, only way Tierney stays, maybe, is if we get a new manager, he plays, for example, 3 at the back, and he sees Tierney as the main guy for the left back spot. That is the only way, I think. That is the only way if we change the system when we get a new manager, because it's clearly that Mikel Arteta doesn't want Tierney here, given that he doesn't start at left back almost whatsoever. Plus, he has spent 150 million on left backs alone throughout his tenure at Arsenal, so I guess it is what it is. Oh, the God, yeah. How games can Skelly not play? Straight red usually is 3 games. Straight red is usually 3 games, depending on if they overlook the decision. It can be reduced to 1 game, to 2 games, depends. But Arsenal has the ability to appeal, and it can get cancelled, declined. It can get, basically, Arsenal can appeal the red card, it can get rescinded, and Skelly can play in the next game. All depends. All depends. Did Marlon change his account again? frick's sake, Marlon, what are you doing here? Bullshit, always bullshit excuses. If I see Kroenke or Arteta, the best down coming immediately. Dude. It's actually kind of mad. But anyways, Arsenal got 3 points. This is what it counts. We can look at this whatever way we want, but we got 3 points over the Blue. Sven Nijpan is still on Arsenal's books. Now, here is the big thing. Martinelli has spoken a bit, and he has said this basically. We belong in the Champions League and we want to win it. That is actually kind of nice. However, wanting it and doing it are two completely separate things. That is the big thing. Anyhow, this is the big one. This is the big one. According to L'Equipe, the French football news, L'Equipe and all that stuff, Bradley Barcola, 22, obviously, we all know, PSG left winger, they just signed Kvaratskhelia and everything, has been left surprised by PSG recruitment, by Kvaratskhelia, who is 23. The big question is, and I still don't get it, how PSG is gonna operate this, because Barcola is a left winger, bless me, Kvaratskhelia is a left winger. Barcola is a left winger. Barcola has been arguably the standout performer, arguably, for PSG this season, and even the previous season to some extent. But yeah, he's outstanding performer, and they signed Kvaratskhelia, more established, better finisher, not as quick pace-wise, but more techy than Barcola. The question is, how PSG is gonna do this? The biggest question is how PSG is going to do this, because they're gonna play Barcola on the right, they're gonna play Kvaratskhelia on the right, or they're gonna switch positions around. When does PSG play, by the way? They play right now, as I'm live. PSG's starting 11 is Kvaratskhelia on the left, Gonçalo Ramos at striker, and Ousmane Dembele on the right. And Barcola is holding the bench. Kid you not? Barcola is holding the bench. You can, I want to show you. See? Kvaratskhelia is on the left, and Barcola is holding the bench right here. So the big question is that gonna make Barcola upset that he's gonna request a transfer? That is for me the biggest thing. Yeah, Oliver shouldn't. Rumors. Yeah, it's always rumors. 6 days in the window, it is what it is. City will smash at Emirates when you have defenders as a threat. That is the biggest thing. We won 1-0, and our defenders again saved our asses. And I don't mean clean sheet wise, I mean scoring wise. Our defenders scored again. And that is the biggest thing. We desperately need to sign a striker before we play City. Obviously before the end of the window, as it stands. And currently, based on Arsenal's rumor mill, it doesn't look too exciting whatsoever. Because we were linked with Rashford, right? We cannot get him on loan because we have 2 loans from Premier League in Neto and Sterling. Arteta has said in an interview that he's not thinking about cancelling any of those loans. If we are actually gonna sign Rashford, we have to buy him, ultimately. Or we have to buy Neto right now and loan in Rashford. Those are the only 2 options, right? Which means Arsenal, what they're gonna do? Because there are no concrete links to anyone whatsoever. He's hoping. He might not, right? Nijpan might sign, might not. The biggest thing is, he's 18. He's gonna play for under 21s. I don't see him playing in our main squad whatsoever. I know we have to build for the future and all that jazz, right? But we need players now. Big, established names who can help us and move the needle and make us more threatening. And we are not doing anything. Just sign Barcola. Yeah, that's the thing. We say he will cook at Arsenal. He might not. Okay, that is given every single time. The thing is, for me, no matter who we sign, solely depends on how he will be asked to play by Mikel Arteta in the team. Because if you are a world-class manager, you buy a player and you adjust the system for the player so you can basically elevate players' strengths and hide his weaknesses. Ultimately, you do that, and then you basically also elevate someone else's strengths, and by elevating someone else's strengths, you cover the new player's weaknesses, right? It goes basically for the balance. The thing is, how Mikel Arteta signs players, at least looking from the outside in, it looks like he buys players for the system he wants to play, which is good to a certain point. It's generally good until a certain point. When it basically comes to getting something unique and getting someone who can do it in a way that it's very unorthodox. We play a system that is predictable, and you don't do usually anything out of nowhere. But Arteta, we play like that, and that's for me the biggest issue. We need to sign players and adjust the system to fit the players, not adjust players to fit the system we want to play. Because we had system adjusted to the players. We saw that in 22-23 season. Since then, we did the whole 180 on it. We adjusted players to fit the new system, and now it has killed Martinelli. It has killed Odegaard. Let's be real as well. It has absolutely ruined to some extent our output in the attack. And we are not even talking about new signings or anything. City are finished and Arsenal will. We tend to do somewhat decently against City at Emirates, but it at the moment it might be a long one. You might be right. We need to start getting these damn forwards to attack. Exactly. Don't underestimate City. They cooked Chelsea, who will barely get a point. To be honest, Chelsea are also in a bit of a free fall right now. They have gone from top to the bottom pretty much real quick. I don't know if they've been figured out, if it's inexperience or what. Maybe Maresca is also not cut out for the job as of yet, but it is what it is. We'll have to wait and see. We need 3 signings. We need at least 2 in the attack, and we need 1 in the midfield, I think, like right now. And then we can maybe readjust in summer, because at the moment we are looking at summer. If we want to fix everything in one summer, and if we want to sign properly, we need to sign about 8-9 players. Plus, if you sell some, we need to sign about 10. Let's just put it, say 10. And if we sell, we are looking at genuinely about 400-500 million transfer window to sign only. And if let's just say Kroenkes give him 200 million, that means we need to sell players for about 200-300 million overall. So we can get the money in, and we can also spend it. And I never see Arsenal do that. We never sign about 10 players in one window. Never gonna happen. So we can actually split it, sign 3 now, sign 4 in summer, and we can go from there. But it looks like Arsenal are not gonna do it. Kroenkes are not that serious. From the outside looking in, as I like to say. So I'm looking at Kroenkes, I'm looking at Arteta. Arteta is pleading in interviews now for us to sign players. Kroenkes are doing nothing. And to be honest, you can understand Kroenkes as well, because they have given him 700 million, and he had almost 8, but he hasn't done anything. He has signed some good players, but mostly it's been misses. He has signed 31 players. And there is the big thing. People say, oh, you need more than 750 million to make the team. But let's be real. I just noticed, by the way, off topic, Zaire Emery, who's a midfielder, plays right back for PSG, by the way. That's out of nowhere. But ultimately, he has been given 750 million, right? There's a big difference on what you sign and who you spend your money on. You can spend the money in 2 ways. You sign a bunch of mediocre players like we have done, or you can maybe pay a bit more, a bit of a premium, right? And sign maybe about 5-6 players, proper players. Because if you have 750 million, right, you can sign about 10-11 players for proper money. That's about 60 to 70 million a pop. That you sign proper players. Or you can do what Arteta did. You spend 750 million, you sign 31 players, which comes out on average about 25 to 28 million a head, basically. Which means you haven't signed that big of a good players as well, ultimately. So I guess it is what it is. It's at the end of the day, we have to wait and see. But we move. Osimhen for me is still the answer. Osimhen is trending worldwide, by the way, at the moment. Let me check this. Why is Osimhen? Oh, Real Madrid winning 1-0. Who scored? Mbappe scored from Bellingham's assist. Why is Osimhen trending? Galatasaray won 1-0 against Konyaspor. And of course, Victor Osimhen scored. Shocking display of things, of course, but I guess it is what it is. Left wing, right wing, Yildiz, Fatsi. Baena, I would take Baena. He can play left wing, number 8 technically, so I would take Aleš Baena. He can whip in a cross, he can press, he can shoot, he can do everything. And to be honest, the way I look at this, Aleš Baena could be the guy we can get to any extent closest to what we had in Santi Cazorla. He is the closest opportunity for us to get. And in my opinion, from that left 8 spot, we need that creativity. Especially, let's just for example say Partey leaves, of course, in summer, Rice goes to 6, we need a proper 8 who can create, and signing Baena for that spot would be fantastic. Signing Fabian Ruiz to some extent for that spot would be fantastic. We need more creative midfielders, because doing that solely with Odegaard is not good enough, and we have seen this all this time. Over the games, so we need more creative from the midfield, and I think signing, for example, Baena in that spot would be actually quite helpful for Arsenal. Yeah, Zaire Emery plays predominantly number 8, number 10 at times, so I guess we have to wait and see. Hopefully Trossard, Tierney and Partey will stay. Unfortunately, Natalie, they won't. Partey apparently is leaving at the end of the contract, which is this summer. Tierney apparently is also leaving at the end of this contract, which is this summer, and he's going back to Celtic. Trossard, I think a month ago, rejected Arsenal's contract extension, so it's not looking all too rosy, let's just put it that way. Jorginho out as well. His contract runs out at the end of the season, and it doesn't look like he's going to re-sign as well. Osimhen slapped Turkish journalist. Good job! Osimhen is a chill. Oh, no. Osimhen is not. That's why he's trending? Wait. Where is Osimhen? I want to see Osimhen trending. I'm gonna click this. If there's something weird going on there, I might actually be kind of screwed. Osimhen. Look at this. 3 players marking Osimhen, holding him in a stranglehold. Genuinely, that's actually mad. I can't show you these. Why? I didn't hit the journalists. They're lying. Why are you flashing my face? You have to ask permission for an interview. I told them they have to delete my photos. If I wanted to hit them, I would have. He didn't hit them. Let's be real. You can say he did, but ultimately he didn't, in my opinion. I don't think he hit them ultimately. It's just a rumor that's flying around, and I guess it is what it. It is what it is. Arteta has given the presser. Yes, he has. Mikel Arteta's post-Wolves presser. Let's see what he had to say after this game. Then I guess we're signing Igor Jesus. Rashford says, we are linked with everyone and signing nobody. It's mad. He's a chill goal scoring machine. Kinda. Anyways, on the what Arteta had to say after today's game. On hard for still no signings, you can tell the board. Yeah, that is the case. Well, basically, obviously, we don't know what's going in the club. Based on accountants and PSR statements that everyone has put out, Arsenal have no PSR issues. We have money to spend. And if that is the true, we are just not spending. Mikel Arteta says we are doing something behind the scenes. We are looking at opportunities, as he always does. Of course, he missed opportunity with Kvaratskhelia, another opportunity missed. But ultimately, we just sit here and wait patiently, I guess. We cannot do anything. Yes, we can get pissed off. Yes, we can annoyed. We can scream what we want. But unless they... I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I've come to this acceptance, 5 stages of grief and everything, and finally there is acceptance in the end that Arsenal are not going to sign anyone. I basically have accepted that. If we sign someone, I'm not unless we sign someone big, I won't be too excited, and especially if we sign someone random out of nowhere, a no name, if you will, comparatively, that we got promised to sign world-class players I won't be too excited. Obviously, I will cuss them out if we sign someone like, I don't know, we sign another Kim Kallstrom, but I've kind of come to the terms and accepted that we're not gonna sign anyone. And no, I'm not gonna lie, I was pissed off in the transfer window when we signed only Per Cech in summer. Remember that window as an Arsenal fan? Uh, and this window is even more frustrating. That's the bad part. What bored the money hungry punks who would give a nah. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Mikel Arteta is pleading for help at every press conference. Where are the cronkies? That's the biggest thing. Mikel Arteta is openly coming out and saying we need strikers. We are not good enough. We need players. Our bench is not deep enough. He's subbing on our best left back in the team for left wing spot and everything. And the cronkies are doing nothing. But from economical and business ownership standpoint of view, you kind of can understand that as well. Because after you have been given 750 million and your return on the investment is bigger fish to fry, so-called, and in the end you win nothing, I can see why they would be reluctant to give him money. You said it will be probably signed 2 or 3 random. I didn't say that. I said that we might sign someone randoms. I think that's the biggest thing. I have accepted that we're not going to sign anyone as a fact, right? But Arsenal actually on the deadline day, there might be a panic signing as we did with Raheem Sterling, and we might sign someone out of nowhere on loan, or we can just put in a random bid and they accept it. And that is the biggest thing. I'm not saying like in that regard. I'm accepted that we're not going to sign anyone. Everything above that, we'll have to wait and see who is signed. Because how in 3.5 weeks in this transfer window we haven't signed anyone and there have been no concrete bids for everyone, it kind of shows everything you need to know. The proof is in the pudding. That is the biggest thing. AFC always make us sign some damn business bonds because they want stuff. No, we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, Mikel Arteta. On the hard-fought win, yes, I'm extremely proud of all the players. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of impressed by the team that they showed character as well. You can talk about our courage, you can talk about the spirit, but as well as the intelligence. The way they managed emotionally the game was unbelievable, especially with what we have to face and how they felt about it. All of them just face the situation, the challenge. True, but it doesn't take away from the fact that we should have been about 3-0 up before the red card. We went to the second half, the only message was to go out and help to win the game. That's it. Somebody doesn't feel it, don't go. And they certainly did everything convincing to themselves to win the game. On Skelly's red card, I think it's that obvious. We don't need any comments today, and hopefully the right thing will happen after today. Dude, he just doesn't want to say anything because he's gonna hit with the fine, he's gonna get banned from the sidelines for about 3 games and everything. He doesn't want to do this again. On whether he had an explanation for the sending off, no, he hasn't. So basically what we're gonna see in a few days time, we will see an apology letter from PGMOL for Arsenal from wrong sending off. Arsenal will appeal the red card, it's gonna be rescinded, and then Skelly will be available for the game against City. That's at least how I see this going on. Unless PGMOL somehow, well, you get what I mean, have something in for some other teams, let's just put it that way. In my opinion, we should sign a striker before the deadline and on the right wing in the summer. That's the thing. We should sign at least a striker right now. We need to sign a striker. We need to sign, in my opinion, 2 forwards, a striker and a winger. And then we can reassess afterwards what's gonna happen, what we're gonna do afterwards. That for me is the case at the moment. Punk's always trying to bring us down because they never dominate us. That's the biggest thing, to be honest. And that has been since Wenger days and even before that, let's be real. Remember, I don't know if you remember because you might be hella young still, right? But when Wenger just came in from Japan out of nowhere, he changed everything. Because before the Graham days and everything, players were drinking and going hungover into the games and all that stuff. Wenger came in, he changed the diets. Instantly put on diets, changed everything. Then Arsenal were one of the first teams, if not the first team, if I'm not mistaken, that fielded Afro-American player, first Afro-American, full Afro-American player team and stuff like that. Something in those lines. I remember there was something about Afro-American players. I'm just skipping on my mind on top of my head. He changed everything. Manager came out of nowhere, destroyed United, destroyed everyone, went toe to toe with, in England at least, how they see the best manager in the world football has ever seen, in Sir Alex Ferguson and everything, won the league on multiple occasions, went toe to toe without spending any money, signing nobodies, finding proper talents, and then doing everything. And it has happened already since then with the media, with the referees. It already started from long time ago then. And it has basically been weaving through, more obviously or less obviously, depending on the time, how we are doing, and how much it gets attention in the media over the years. And obviously with the VAR coming in, with the referees being highlighted as much as they are right now, it is more evident than ever. Let's just put it that way. And if you, for example, sit and read news articles regarding Arsenal, you can see, for example, how it gets portrayed with the headlines, for example, in Telegraph, in Times, in Sky Sports. It basically, you can see that some of them, they phrase it in a way that doesn't either go in the context with the article itself, or it just basically puts an extra dark shadow over Arsenal in that regard. But I don't want to get into that. Yeah, Kroenke is out 100%. Kroenke is out, AFTV out, Arteta out, everyone out. Big up Pepper. Michael Oliver needs to go. He needs to get sacked. But obviously they will cover their own asses and everything. As I said in the beginning of the stream, I hope that when Michael Oliver goes to sleep, he tries to find the cold side of his pillow. And it's always hot. No matter what way he turns it, it is always hot as hell. Refs haters, but yeah, it is part of our history, and it's been like that. You're talking about Kroenke, exactly. An Arab or a Chinese should buy an Arsenal. To be honest, I don't know if Chinese would be the right option. Maybe, who knows? But Arabs, Qataris, someone. Just someone who actually cares about football. That is the biggest thing. It doesn't matter as much, maybe, who the owner is, per se, maybe as much as they love football. Because any businessman who has money, extra money, you know, the Mark Cuban, who owned the Dallas Mavericks, for example. Of course, Bezos, Musk, who allegedly wanted Liverpool and stuff like that. Those guys have the money and then can spend it, right? They have, let's just say, 50 million, just like a pocket change lying in their back pocket, right? It doesn't matter in that sense who buys Arsenal as much as do they care about football. Because as bad, in a way, as bad as it was, as bad as you could say it was, Roman Abramovich, who bought Chelsea in 2000s, right? No matter what you think about him, you could see that he cares about football and he's a footballing man. He went drinking beer in bars with fans after the games. He picked up the tab before the game and let everyone drink on him, and then he would pay it off after the game. He was going to footballers' homes, talking to them, discussing them, signing them. He was involved. He was a footballing man. And these days, most of the owners of the clubs, especially the US owners, like FSG, KSC, Glazers and stuff like that, they are not footballing people. For them, it's just a business. For us fans, it's football, it's heritage, it's emotional, it's a way of life. For them, it's just another business, ultimately. For Kroenke's Arsenal, it's basically like Walmart, basically, what they own and stuff like that. It is what it is. But I have caught up on all the Arsenal history and Thierry, yeah. Kroenke's can never... Exactly. Of all the teams Kroenke's own, including the ones across the pond and everything, Arsenal is the only club that has never won anything major. That is also you have to take into account. Avalanche has won NHL, Nuggets has won NBA, Colorado Rapids has won MLS, and their lacrosse team also has won it. Arsenal is the only club they own that has won nothing. That is the biggest thing. Oliver is the... Hey, don't judge us yet. We won the league against Prime Man under 13 points behind the... Yeah, different stories, different circumstances. Let's just put it that way. Under Arteta, Arabs would win the Premier League title back to back. Who knows? And you... Kai... don't even start me on Kai Havertz. I gave up already. Yeah. Top Gunners were saying 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 windows when ultimately in today's game, none of those players started they signed in summer. None. Neto, never. Sterling, never. Calafiori, never. Merino injured. Again, I think it's Merino's third or fourth injury since joining Arsenal. It's been half a year since he's been here, and he's been injured already 3-4 times. Same goes for Calafiori. Tierney put in another cross. Yeah. Tierney put in another cross that was top drawer today. Again, it was begging for a diving header or something like that to go in and just smash it into bottom corner. Instantly. Now imagine, for example, right? Tierney having to cross the ball to Gyökeres, to Giroud even, to Lukaku, an out-and-out finishers, Osimhen. Imagine him making crosses like that to proper strikers up top who know what to do when the ball arrives into the box. Imagine that. Tierney always cooks when he plays. Exactly, just needs a goddamn manager that actually trusts him and plays him exactly. And that's the biggest reason why he's leaving. Because the manager doesn't trust him enough to start him every single game. He has spent 150 million on left backs alone, and he has tried to replace him every single time. Despite the fact that Kieran Tierney is the only guy in this Arsenal team who started in semi-finals, who started in the finals, who helped with Aubameyang together carry the team across the line in the FA Cup final 5 years ago. I still remember the over-the-top balls Tierney did to Manchester City, and Aubameyang went in one-on-one and everything. I still remember those days. It was begging for an elite strike. Exactly. It happened against... Who was it against? It was against Newcastle, against United, against Villa. Every time he comes on, he puts in a world-class cross. Sadly, we have Sunday League striker up front. Surprised Emery hasn't tried to snap Tierney up for Villa. True, but they have already decent left backs. They don't need him as much. Obviously, Madsen might not be the case, but they have Digne. Digne can do it as well. Digne can be on free kicks and everything. He has Digne. He doesn't need Tierney at the moment. And he doesn't need him at all, to be honest. Yeah, that is the biggest thing. He would. Maybe Emery is trying quiet swoop up Tierney. It doesn't look that way. It doesn't look that way. Tierney apparently is going back to Celtic. Yeah, I'm not saying that Tierney is worse than Digne, but Digne has the same ability to put in a proper cross from the left back spot and everything. So getting to those type of players just doesn't seem right for at least for me, for Emery to do. And it looks like Kieran Tierney has his mind set to joining back to Celtic, his boyhood club, so I guess it is what it is. Anyways, back to the interview. We're gonna miss this all. On if the club will appeal his red card, hopefully we don't need to, and if we have to, it happened, and it's a really good precedent for what happened with Bruno Fernandes as well as this season. Okay, we are in position that we shouldn't be in the last position. We shouldn't be for the next few weeks and allow players to continue to show up. Yeah, on the importance on grinding out the results. That's what they show us every single day. Blah blah blah. Okay, more waffle. Moving on. On channeling the frustration at halftime to get result, especially because we put so much work and hours and passion and dedication into what we do. Regardless of what happens, this was thrown there. You have to continue to have the desire and that we will win over outcome situation, because now you are going to throw it through the window. True. On Miles potentially missing the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. Well, as I said, I prefer not to comment on the actual thing. We cannot change actually what happened today. Hopefully it will be fair for the team and for the player and for everybody what's going up to happen in the next few weeks. On the mental strength to win after going down to 10 men. Well, we hold on. We were actually pretty good with 10 men, I'm not gonna lie. We've been ticking a lot. Okay, we've been ticking a lot, I think, this season, about one on Not Surprised. Yeah, to be honest, this was our 4th red card this season. If I'm not mistaken, it was the 4th red card this season for Arsenal, as mad as it sounds. So we have some practice. On if he trains with 10 men often, how often? In the time context of game scenarios when we have overloads, underloads, but we do not have time to train. So the time for that he train at least for nonsense playing with them. To be honest, nobody trains for these things. It is what it is. You just go with the flow, because red cards is not as common every single time. You get them on occasion. Let's be real, Arsenal have gotten 4 this season, so it is a bit different. But overall, it's not a regular occurrence. So there are some things there's no reason to prepare for. Nothing that much has changed, because you can easily shift the formation in a way that arguably one position up front gets taken away, and defensively you're solid, midfield is solid, and in that regard you just play on a different style a bit, but nothing too much changes. On Calafiori's finish, like the goal against Man City, Richie can produce these magic moments that he did today again. It really helped the team, so really glad to whoever comes in on the pitch he has experienced to make things happen. Basically some sort of a waffle, blah 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 here or there. I guess it is what it is. So let's see, PSG winning or not? PSG is still drawing. Newcastle. Yeah, I guess it is what it is in that regard. Let's see what other Arsenal stuff is saying. Bukayo Saka on Instagram has posted something. Declan Rice, shirtless. That's gonna be a profile picture for someone. Today, by the way, Gabriel Magalhaes was the captain, a proper captain, and you can see he actually did very solid as a captain. To be honest, I didn't miss Odegaard on the pitch whatsoever. Nor as a player, nor as the captain. By the way, by far, Tierney gets valid game time with a good manager at Arsenal. He would be exactly that. For me, is the biggest thing. When Tierney came in, you could see how good he was, defensively, attacking wise. And Arsenal fans, including myself, I'm not gonna lie, were saying that he should be the captain of Arsenal. He could be the captain at some point. He could leave a massive legacy at Arsenal at some point. Obviously, injuries kind of held him back. And Arteta came in. He wants to do this inverted thing. And ultimately, it's not going to happen because he wants that. But for example, if we got a different manager, right? He would most likely play him as a left back. Or left wing back if he plays 5 at the back, 3 at the back. Depends how you look at it, right? And he actually would cook in that formation. I strongly believe that Kieran Tierney in a 5 at the back, going down the left side, up and down, crossing, defending, giving passes, getting in behind, actually could be quite fantastic. We weren't going to score unless Wolves went down to 10 men themselves. True. But to be honest, before Skelly got the red card, we should have been 3-0 up. Havertz missed 3 chances. He could have been on a hat-trick. There was another chance we missed. We could have easily scored at least 2 goals before we got the red card. And then this red card kind of becomes a moot point. But again, since we don't have a designated striker up front, which we need desperately, this was another game that pretty much puts it on a silver platter to showcase how badly we need that a striker is actually kind of wild. Tierney did a lot for our team. Exactly. It kind of pains me that he's gonna go. I still believe he could do some massive damage at Arsenal, in a good way. Probably, but the team has to go and bear and have to adapt him without Saka in the attack. Osimhen or Gyökeres? Who would take? Osimhen? I don't feel like we were going to score at all. I get that. It didn't feel that way, but the cross for Kai Havertz, who tried to head the ball but shot it straight at the keeper. Right? Sa made the save with his right leg. Then there was another cross for him, again from the left side. From the right side, sorry. And he just shot it wide the post. Was it from a corner or what? I don't remember now on top of my head. Then there was another chance early on. Havertz again missed. Havertz could have scored at least 2 goals. There's the one thing that we never felt like we're gonna actually score, but there were chances for us to score. Unfortunately, we don't have a striker, we don't have a clinical finisher up top, and having Havertz up there basically makes us feel like we never gonna score. That is the biggest thing. It's not per se, for example, that we cannot score, it's that we don't have a player who can score. Because the chances were there. Because we had the same issue against United. Havertz missed 2 clear-cut chances, one from 7 yards out, one from 2 yards out. Then there was against Villa, he missed, I think, again 2 chances. Against Zagreb, I think 2 chances. Against Newcastle, he missed 1 or 2, if not even 3 chances. Remember against Brighton, when at home, when we went down to 10 men, he missed being 1-on-1 as well, with the goalkeeper shot it straight at the keeper. He's doing it on regular basis. And that's the reason why I'm screaming that we need a striker. And that's the reason why I'm gonna sit on this hill for a very long time until we get a proper striker, I guess. The fact that if Kai Havertz could actually finish on semi-consistent basis, instead of having 14 goals this season in all competitions, he should be on about 22, 23 goals. Because the amount of crosses, the chances, the headers, the shots he gets that are actually in front of the net, but he just cannot score because he's not that clinical, is genuinely embarrassing. And that's the biggest reason why he cannot be our out-and-out striker and the guy we basically rely upon every single game to get us over the line. Because looking at the attack we have right now, obviously when Yeri is back, if we take out Yeri, look at the attack of Martinelli, Trossard, Havertz, Sterling, Trossard, Havertz, and stuff like that. It's genuinely mid-table, if not bottom half side Premier League attack. Brighton has better attack, Bournemouth has better attack, Forest have better attack. We're not even talking about, for example, even Chelsea, even I'm not gonna lie, as much as I hate to say this, Spurs have better attack. And of course, we're not even including Liverpool, City, teams like that. They all have better attacks than Arsenal. Yet Arsenal still are hanging on by a thread, obviously, in the top two. And that is, again, solely due to the fact that our defenders, yes, defenders, are picking up the slack half the time when they cannot score. And that's why we don't win games like 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, 3-1. We stink out 1-0, 2-1, 2-0 wins. And many of those chances are only because Saka has done a magical thing or our defenders have scored. That is the biggest issue here. Because we ain't playing three at the back. Could be the case, but Arteta is not going to change that. I watch Osimhen and I tell you, Osimhen is a very decent finisher. Very good, I'm not going to lie. The only player that can get the better out of Kai Havertz is Victor Osimhen. For me, the biggest issue is, as much as we scream for a striker and everything, right? Let's just say we sign Osimhen this transfer window. It means that Kai Havertz must hold bench, as wild as it sounds. And we all know that Mikel Arteta doesn't want to do that, so he may try to force him into the midfield, to play as a secondary striker from midfield, of course. And to hold him on the bench, 65 million, okay, cool, that can happen. But to pay nearly 300 grand a week for a player that basically sits on the bench seems hella stupid, doesn't it? That is the big part. And to be honest, on every striker we're gonna try and sign, he might look at this and see how Havertz misses all the sitters, the chances we tend to create, and look at his wages on nearly 300 grand a week, and he can say, well, if I'm coming to Arsenal, I want guaranteed starter, okay, cool. And we want like 250 grand a week. Because our both strikers combined get more than 500,000 a week. Both our strikers combined, Jesus and Havertz. And none of them can finish their dinner most of the time. That is a big issue to that regard. That kind of gives also the chance to play the striker we're going to try and sign some leeway in trying on asking some extra funds in salary-wise. Strip Odegaard of the captaincy tonight and give it to Gabriel. Keep Gabriel as the captain. Can Havertz not play then Martinelli, Trossard, and Yeri. To be honest, there will have been some games where Havertz comes off the bench as the number 9. And that have been some of his more impressive games this season. I think 1 or 2 games it has happened only. But he has been very impressive as the chaos creator in the number 9 spot coming off as the sub. Because when we have Trossard, it's a completely different dynamic. And obviously when we had Jesus as a number 9, when he was in that decent form before he got injured again, our team in the attack were more free-flowing, more dangerous, more fluid. So that also stands to that point. Exactly. We have our own Anthony, pretty much, and that's Havertz. Although Havertz scores much more than Anthony. I watched Osimhen in a match with Napoli. He scored screen. Yeah, he has that. Perfect striker for Arsenal. Look at Saka. If we look at this, for example, Saka, let's just say for the sake of an argument, Odegaard, as much as he is hit and miss many times, and Osimhen, that actually could work quite nicely. Now, like, Kai Havertz needs Osimhen to get best out of him. Yeah, that could be the case. That's the biggest thing. There are many positions we don't have any competition for. We don't have in number 10, we don't have in right wing, we don't have in Saliba's position, right center back. We obviously not even talking about striker. We don't have competition in those spots. There is one guy, and no matter what happens, he's playing, whether he drops a stinker or not. There is no competition, nothing who is breathing on his neck to kind of, if you screw up, I'm taking your spot. There's nobody like that. Can't believe Arsenal let my boy Marmoush go and move to City when they need a striker. Well, it is what it is, I guess. Anyways. This will please Top Gunners' ears. Arsenal are now unbeaten in 13 matches in the Premier League. Only Liverpool are on a longer current unbeaten run, 18. And that's the reason why we are second in the league. Ultimately, that is the reason why we are second in the league. And obviously, as things stand, as of right now, we are second in the table, 6 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool obviously have game in hand. So for me personally, I'm saying it's 9 points because no matter how you look at things, you have to look at the worst. It's 9 points. Anything that comes after that, a draw or even Liverpool lose to, for example, to Everton, that is a bonus. Let's just put it that way. Nottingham Forest got thrashed by Bournemouth today, 5-0. So they have dropped 3 points below us. City won today against Chelsea, so they have gone into top 4. The biggest thing is, tomorrow next weekend we play against City. That game has a big sway on things, because if we lose, they are only 3 points behind us. If we win, we are 9 points above them. That game could decide quite massively, potentially, I'm not saying anything, but potentially, where Arsenal could finish the season. Because the closer City gets to us, and if we, for example, lose to City at the same time Newcastle win, all of those teams are only 3 points behind. And then one game swing can make us go from 2nd into 5th or 6th. That is the big case currently. It's a small, well, not 6th, maybe 5th, but that's obviously from what-if scenarios. It takes a lot. But currently we are 6 points above 4th, so that is good. Obviously we play City next weekend, so that will decide also quite a lot. Time only will tell. And in this instance, if you look at things, right? Next weekend, who do Liverpool play? Premier League schedule. Who do Liverpool play next weekend? Next weekend, Liverpool play Bournemouth away. That will be a very rough and tough game for Bournemouth, knowing the result that they just beat at home Nottingham Forest 5-0. Liverpool might struggle, who knows, but it will be a very entertaining game. And that kind of quite heavily rides on everything, in my opinion, because this game, for example, Liverpool lose, and we play only the next day, which will put extra heavy pressure on Arsenal at home. Extra heavy pressure. Even if they draw, it will be an extra heavy pressure on Arsenal to minimize the gap. That also will be the case. But ultimately, it's only what-if scenarios. We are looking too much ahead. We need to look at now against Girona during the week, of course. Screw that. I want to see Arsenal winning the EFL Cup, dominating the Champions League. I want to win everything. And Arsenal are not winning anything. If we need to beat Newcastle 3-0 now, or at least 2-0 and then go to penalties and win on penalties. Ultimately, we need to score. We need to win 3-0 against Newcastle at St James Park, at a place where in 2 years we have scored. We have had only one shot on target. That's in Carabao Cup. We are out of FA Cup. See what's gonna happen in Champions League after Girona game, where we're gonna finish and who we're gonna play into the next round. And Premier League, as much as it is up for grabs, it's still a 3-game swing, no matter how you look at it. So only time will tell. Marmoush has joined City and Arsenal. Arsenal are doing nothing. Genuinely, Arsenal are doing nothing. But ultimately, Arsenal won today 1-0, despite everything, despite the odds, playing with 10 men, sometimes with 9 men, looking how Havertz is playing on the pitch. But yeah, we have 3 points on the books, and that's all that matters. Liverpool didn't get away from us again, although it looked that way at some point. You're right, an Arab will buy Arsenal and we can win Premier League and back to... Maybe, who knows, dependent. How much they invest, do they believe in Arteta, do they want a proper manager in? Who knows. But yeah, Arsenal won today, that is the big thing. That is helping, that has basically put us where we are still. But yeah, for today, I am out. Gonna see you all tomorrow, see what tomorrow brings. Maybe we actually will gonna sign someone tomorrow. Well, there will be actually some proper links, because so far it is basically tumbleweed settings in the middle of a country road. Just tumbleweed. That's about it. But yeah, for today, take care, stay safe, have a nice evening. See, Ania wants Arteta gone. Cannot disagree. Kwame is going. Big up, my guy. Big up. Champions League to next round. Play with top 8 or teams 9-16. I think we need to get at worst a draw, and we are. I think the draw guarantees us top 8, so it's not that bad. Let's just put it. We will look at it tomorrow. We're just gonna look at it tomorrow, of course. But yeah, Arteta fuera. But yeah, for today I am out. Like, if you haven't already, like the streams, share it around. Subscribe if you're new around here. Take care, stay safe, have a nice evening. Enjoy the time now, because Arsenal have won for it, and it doesn't ruin our weekend for a change. See what tomorrow brings. Big up Nally, big up. But yeah, take care, stay safe. See you all tomorrow, and well, yeah, let's hope Arsenal signs someone, because if we don't, it could be Pick'ems, because I have already seen, and I kid you not, people DMing, messaging each other, emailing about banners, about airplanes with banners flying over Emirates, and I am already seeing these things, so it could get nasty if we don't sign anyone. But yeah, for today, take care, stay safe, have a nice evening. I am out. Peace.